Patrick Vernié, welcome to the show. Patrick, can you introduce yourself, please, with a few short sentences about what you do and who you are?
Well, so I'm Patrick Vernié. I work first for Bayer in the environmental science group, and I focus on stakeholder affairs coordination within a larger region of Europe and in Africa and Asia. But of course, it's more a coordination role for the far distance countries. But in some parts of the world, like Europe, also for historical reasons, I'm more deeply involved in with what we call in our business stakeholders, and have a long history with CEPA, where I've been involved in the evolution of CEPA for many years. I think it's almost 15 years now, and I've seen the great progress CEPA has made and is continuing to make. And I'm currently a member of the board of directors, and I'm very excited about the changes and all the positive dynamic of our industry.
Yeah, thank you. And I appreciate the work that you all in the board of directors do. And I really look forward to having all of the board of directors in the interviews. So thank you for your time and your investment into CEPA and European pest managers. Can you explain a little bit what your employer, Bayer Environmental Science, what do you do, and what is the vision of Bayer for pest management?
Well, maybe just if I just step back, I mean, Bayer is a big company, and the big purpose of Bayer is science for a better life. So our business is based first on science, to provide a solution to society at large for a better life. And of course, it's based on two divisions, two type of business: pharmaceuticals and agro industry, and also all what we call in our business environmental science, or including public hygiene.
Yeah.
So the vision again is health for all. So of course, based more on our pharmaceutical business. And we say hunger for none, and that's of course more from the agriculture. And when we are in this world of public hygiene, which is almost in between, we crystallize, and we're almost at the heart. Even if we are a much smaller business, it's also an essential part of the business and of society at large. And so we want to contribute to provide solutions for society at large and for the actors who put in place those solutions to ensure public hygiene in the sectors where there is a need. And for sure, we see that there's been a great need in the recent weeks for that. And one thing which is key, I would say, is over years, we want to continue to innovate.
Yes.
So, innovation is really at the core of our DNA. Things don't stand still. So there were solutions we were providing 10 years ago. Some are still there, but a lot of them, are replaced with new ones, which are more modern, more. It's continuous progress, and that's the society we live in, and we are excited to be able to contribute to this movement.
So, you are in the industry for 25 plus years probably, and with Bayer you were able to form a lot of what we know of current pest control. And I know the past month with COVID and the crisis and the virus changed everything. Probably a situation that you, in your 25 plus years of career, never experienced. So what happened? What changes brought that to you and to the company, and how did you guys react?
Well, yes, like you say, nobody, certainly in my working experience, I never experienced such a situation, and I don't think any of my colleagues have. So you have to, like all of us, we have to adapt.
Yes.
And to analyze the situation and do the best we can in the current circumstances, and focus on priorities. I think the first thing which has happened, to be honest, is we wanted to make sure that all employees were safe.
Yeah.
So safety for people have been a top priority. So as an example, I have been working from home since middle of March.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, like most of my colleagues.
Yeah.
In some jobs, in production, for example, of course, they have had to continue going to the workplace, because one of the second priority was to ensure that our customers will continue to have the product, the solution they needed to do the job.
Yeah.
So production sites have continued to be open, of course, with special measures for distancing, hygiene, and so on. So that was the second priority after the safety of the employees, the continuation of our production and supply to make sure our customers could do their job and therefore provide this service of public hygiene, which was so critical at that time. That was and it was challenging because borders were sometimes shut, and nowadays we learn the lesson that the supply chain include many different steps with many different intermediates, components, and you need to put the whole lot together in the right place with the right people to make sure the product is delivered. And that has been a huge challenge. And from what I heard, there have been some minor delays overall, but we've been able to deliver, and that's we are quite proud of that. And I think most of our customers are satisfied with that. That we could keep up deliveries. Yeah.
So in the crisis, we all learned something that, if you would have asked us, wouldn't have been our top priority at the top of our heads, which was pest control is a key industry or relevant for the system. That changed a bit of the perception of pest control, I think. And I loved your introduction where you said everything you do stands and falls for human health. And I think in the end, pest control is a very vital part for human health. So I 100% agree with you. And I know that you, within the board of directors of CEPA, you guys have worked with CEPA members on the so-called Memorandum of Understanding, also on professionalization of pest control. How does this document, this MOU that you're circulating at such a high pace to so many people and stakeholders in the world, or mainly in Europe, how does that affect pest control and the professionalization of our industry in the moment?
Well, I think if it's even more relevant, this Memorandum of Understanding today than it was 6 months or a year ago. I think it was, we are all being convinced that it was the right way ahead, but it's even more the case now. And we are seeing at the moment that we get more stakeholders listening and receptive to our move. I think it is true that the last 2 months with really where Europe has been in the middle of the crisis, the focus was more on the immediate situation, and therefore having our pest control industry being able to work, which was not always the case in all countries, being recognized as a key industry, a key contributor to public hygiene. So there was this urgency for a few weeks. Now I think we are moving out of the main crisis. The situation is not resolved, but we are coming out of the peak of the crisis, and therefore countries and key stakeholders at European level, with a Green Deal being in place or being developed, politicians and administrations say, how can we really implement and be prepared better for the future, and who can contribute. So really, I think we couldn't have a better timing for our memorandum of understanding, and there will be a more official launch at the end of the year, where we will gather all really the actors. We are positive and pushing for it. So the momentum is getting greater, which is very positive.
Yeah.
Memorandum
what is the key message in the memorandum of understanding? So why do pest managers need to be more professionalized? So what is the approach? Is it the big focus is IPM, or how would you describe it in a few words?
Well, first, it's a memorandum of understanding. It's realizing different actors need to contribute for an overall goal. So it can't be just, for example, pest control operators on their own. Yep. You need an understanding of the customers. We have recognized there's a need for public hygiene, because without them there's no action, there's no business. Of course, there is a need for those who are going to put in place. There is a need for all the actors who provide solution to the contractors. There is a need for the regulators to understand this need. There is a need for the politicians, and it's all this mapping of stakeholders who need to join up forces and to recognize that it is important, and to do this job, because this job is important. It needs to be done well, with a high level of professionalism, which needs training in a way where what we call IPM, so integrated pest management, is fully implemented. And IPM, the base is training and professionalism to use the best method. Knowledge is important and skill is important. We are talking about biology of pests. So the most important tool is the brain, at the end.
Exactly. Knowledge, yeah.
To understand knowledge, and also that's so there's a high need to have, because of the very diverse situation of pests and geography and situations, a large toolbox for the pest controllers. We know that the monitoring is essential. We know that physical methods are important. We know that traps are important. Biocides are also very important. But it needs to be tailored to the situation with skills trained pest controllers.
Super, understand. Yeah. And I think what was very valuable in what you said is that not only it's the pest control operators, but it's regulators, it's food industry, farm industry, logistic industry, so many stakeholders from top to bottom, really. And I think that is the true value of the Memorandum of Understanding brought forward by CEPA to the European Commission. And just hats off for the great work that CEPA and you guys performed in the past decade, which is the basis for this, obviously. So what would be your take on another end then, if we would have transferred to the year 2025, 2030 maybe, how do you think could this memorandum of understanding, the COVID crisis, which changed our industry and the importance of it, how will pest control change in the next 10 to 20 years? Is there anything that changed our industry already because of COVID, or do you think the things that are about to change, or nothing changes at all, within the next 10 or 20 years are going to be?
Well, I think there will be many more changes. Clearly, we see that the way of working has been impacted, and what I mean, I think the pace of change probably has increased and has been stimulated by COVID.
Yeah.
You know, there were things which have been already initiated, which will be further implemented at a faster pace. We know that artificial intelligence is going, or digitalization is coming. I think it was a boost for testing those tools. And I think all PCO will also question how to work remotely more, maybe, because we know transport has a big impact on CO2 emission and is a big cost for PCOs. So can I visit the sites less? Question mark, but that's one of the big topics. Can or use remote systems for detection, and how? That's a big question. Reporting and documentation is very important as well. So those methods will evolve with time, and all that means again that we talk about artificial intelligence. So there's intelligence. So still, people will be key. So professionalism is very important, and training as well. And when you sit back, when you look at Europe, with different countries, different level of professionalism, different. There are many. Majority of very good PCOs in Europe, no question about it. But we also have to recognize the level of this professionalism is not even. I think, and we need across Europe to raise the bar. So, if we look at 2025, I think you said, I think we have to achieve that the bar has been raised, all over Europe.
It's good to have goals so we know what we are aiming for. Patrick, what I find really interesting, many people look at Bayer and think, I had an earlier interview with one of your colleagues from the UK a month ago, and I know that many people in the industry look at Bayer and think, oh, this big company and very, unflexible and non-innovative. But if you, for instance, Google digital pest management, you see that Bayer in the US and in America developed their own digital monitoring system. So I think a lot of people think of Bayer as the old biocide producer, but I think you are so much more than that. Can you explain to people how your US American colleagues, what brought them towards making a digital trapping solution? I found that really, really interesting and innovative.
No, but I think, first of all, I would challenge you. I mean, I accept maybe the perception, but I will, as an employee, I do not share your view or your perception, if I put it like that, Daniel. No,
I think you're highly innovative, so don't worry.
I apologize. As being an employee, and I mentioned it in the beginning, one of the strengths of Bayer is innovation. And I think we have proven that in all sectors of the businesses we are here. However, it is true that we take the steps, we innovate step by step. Exactly. To validate, to ensure conformity with the higher standards, and we take the time to develop the right solution for the right markets. We need also for project critical sizes. I mean, that would be a fair point. But innovation is definitely one of our strengths, and we have a long list of history of new products.
Which I want to bring to light, because many people think that you are the classic producer, but you are so much more than that. So I think people should really Google and find out what you guys are really about. Much more than most people think, in my eyes.
Okay, well, yeah, we have a excellent track record in innovation, but we do take the time to come with the optimum solutions, and we need the critical size for our project. Coming back to what's happening in the US, well, the US is the biggest public hygiene market in the world, and as in Europe, they've seen that the potential of remote assistant tools, and also basically when we come with a solution, we want to be an excellent solution. We don't just want a solution. That's when we put the stamp of buyer, we want quality behind it, and that's where we aim for. So, but when we go in different markets, which we are new in, and our customers are new in, there's a lot of new process of adapting and finding the right way, the benefits of and the constraints of these new solutions, and that's what we are learning as well. Sometimes the customers of our customers are more interested in our solution.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure you have experience as well in that. So we are learning, and it takes time. And when you're like that, there are lessons to be learned, and we have to adapt and sometimes modify our initial thoughts. But I think that's one of the key at the moment. We also need to think about the end customer. So customers of our PCOs. I'm thinking that for maybe rodent monitoring systems, possibly also with bed bug detectors. I mean, just thought. You have people who are if you put in their hands non-biocide products, where training would not need to be handled by professionals. They would be part of this memorandum of understanding approach where all the key actors need to contribute. Bed bugs is very challenging at the moment.
It is.
You have people in maybe a hotel or whatever. They are there all the time. So they will not put in place the control program. However, with level 1, I would say, of training, and an appropriate tool, they could be the alert in some situations. I mean, and that's something as well which might have an influence in the future. But this COVID is really, at the end for me, an accelerator of changes which have been initiated already. But it's an accelerator. Is different the way I see it.
I couldn't agree more, Patrick. Patrick, one more thing I would like your opinion on is, as you know, many bars, restaurants, hotel chains have huge issues in the moment. Financial crisis that has also been accelerated by COVID. Do you think these customers that also have pest control contracts, does this crisis affect the pest control industry? Are there only, on the operator side, do a lot of operators lose business? On the manufacturer side, do the manufacturers sell less? What would be your perception? Is 2020 going to be a horrible year for pest control, or do you think it's going to be okay somehow?
Well, it is for sure that a number of businesses in many countries in Europe have been shut down for a number of weeks, if months. During that period, most of them have not taken precaution in terms of pest control. And we have seen that some of them were starting to reopen. I've had some surprises as well, and visitors which were
these stories.
who were present. So I think for the pest controllers who were operating in those situations, tourism, hotels, bar, restaurants, they have been affected. They have been affected, and that part of the business will not be recovered. That's just a fact, I mean, on the other hand, there are many other parts of the business where public hygiene is still essential, has been essential, was essential, has continued to be essential throughout the period, and it's where our business and our role in society is crucial, and we've seen it again. Not only hospitals, but food productions, the whole food. So, in that respect, some PCOs have been more affected than others. Some businesses more than others, but that's it has had some impact.
It did, yeah. I think in the end, also it was funny to learn also that since middle of March you worked from home, so many lives changed. Many people had to adapt to new circumstances, and I think also our industry had to show that it is resilient to change and to crisis that appear out of nowhere, basically. And I think when I looked at the broad mass of pest operators in Europe also, I see many did disinfection, many have proven to be resilient, many have shown that they are strong enough to survive the crisis, now go back with full force, as you said, because so many bars, restaurants reopen and we have issues with rats and mice and whatever. So I totally agree with you, and it's a really interesting year for pest control.
No, it's very exciting times. I think our industry is making great progress. It's showing the world and society where we are essential, we are important, and again, one of the message, we need to continue to have the right tools, to do our jobs efficiently, but we also need to raise the bar to be more professional with the right level of training throughout Europe, and that's it's for us as well to get our acts together.
Accredited. So I think everybody that watches the video, please sign the MOU, right? It's linked up.
Please.
Patrick, thank you so much to be in the show from France. Good to hear that you and your family are well. Thank you for the time and the interview. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.